All right, so today we're going to be measuring Cindy for a proper wheelchair fit. The first thing we want to do is measure her leg length. And that we measure, we make sure that she's wearing shoes and she has, just regular fitting clothes, nothing too bulky. We don't want her barefoot. When we start, we measure the leg length. Go ahead and scooch it over from the heel of her foot or the heel of her shoe to the back of the popliteal fold. And I'm getting about 16.5 inches, and then you add 2 inches, so that'd be about 18.5, and that's to make sure that there's a ground clearance to the bottom, from the foot plate to the floor. And here we can see that she really looks okay, but we also want to check and make sure that there's enough room to slide my fingers under there, which there is, so it looks just about good for Cindy. If it's too low, if the foot plate is too low and it's causing her toes to not really reach it, that can cause a lot of extra pressure on her posterior thigh and cause some skin breakdown. If it's too high and it's really causing some hip flexion there, then that's really going to cause a lot of pressure on her ischial tuberosities, and that's not good either. But this looks just about good for Cindy. The next thing we want to do is I'm going to pop this armrest back, and we're going to measure the seat depth. And again, that's from the popliteal fold to the back of her buttocks. And I'm getting about 15 inches, and you would subtract 2 inches from that. So that'd be about 13 inches. You just want to make sure the seat of the wheelchair is not cutting into the back of her knee, because that again can cause a lot of pressure, a lot of rubbing. It can be very uncomfortable. And then next we would do the seat or the back height. This is from, go ahead and lift your arm straight out in front of you, about 90 degrees, shoulder flexion. This would be from the seat of the wheelchair to the bottom of her axilla, so basically the bottom of her armpit. I'm getting about 14.5 inches. So you subtract 4 inches from that, so that'd be about 10.5 inches. That's to make sure the back of her wheelchair is not rubbing on the inferior angle of her scapula. Again, that could cause a lot of skin breakdown, rubbing, and potential sores. Then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to lift this other armrest back. We're going to do the seat width. That's from the widest parts of her hips. So I'm getting about 14 inches, and then you would add 1.5 inches, so that'd be about 15.5 inches. And you want to just add those inches to make sure there's plenty of space between her hips, the greater trochanters of her hips, to the seat, to the armrest. Make sure there's no rubbing again, but you also don't want it too wide so that she's really kind of sloshing around in her chair. You want her to be like nice, comfortable, stable feel. The last one we would do is going to be the armrest height. So just have you relax right there, perfect. And this one is from the bottom of the seat to her olecranon process. And I'm getting about 6 inches, and you want to add 1 inch to that, so proper fit would be about 7 inches for the armrest height. And there you go. All right, so what we're going to be learning today is how to propel ourselves forward. This first one is with bilateral upper extremities, so basically both my arms. So what you want to do is you want to grasp the hand rims. I like to basically pinch it between my thenar eminence and the rest of my fingers on both hands, and then you just push the wheel kind of forward and down. Oh, and then if you have one upper extremity and one lower extremity, so I'm going to swing this guy out of the way. Basically it's the same thing. Say I have carrying something in my hand, I don't have use of this hand right now. I kind of just walk forward with my hand, and then I can also push forward with my good hand at the same time. Now, say I have my lap is full, maybe I have a kid, maybe I have some groceries in my lap. I'm going to need to use both of my legs. I don't have use of any of my hands to use those hand rims. It's basically just going to be like the same thing. You're kind of just walking with the wheelchair. This is kind of good because you can, you have a lot of range of motion. You can just kind of turn as it goes, and you just kind of walk the wheelchair with your feet. So now, however, if I was a hemiplegic patient and I would only have use of one side of my body, and I would need the same lower extremity side and upper extremity, it would be basically the same thing. Again, just pushing forward with my good hand and propelling with my good foot on the same side. Alright, so we're going to learn how to do a quick left turn and a quick right turn. To do a quick left turn, you're going to want to pull back on the left wheel, at the same time push forward on the right wheel. And that's going to give you just that like instant pivot. Same thing, if you want to turn right, you're going to want to pull back on the right wheel and push forward on the left wheel, and that's going to give you that quick right pivot turn. Good. Alright, so to descend a curb independently, my favorite way is to do it backwards. Because I can do a wheelie, however, trying to do a wheelie while going down a curb does not sound fun to me. So the way I like to do it is I like to back myself up to the curb, make sure I'm even, and then kind of stop right until I get to the edge, then position my body. And I'll do this by leaning forward, and then slowly backing myself off the curb. You can try to keep my body forward, my feet are off the ground, and then slowly just kind of letting the wheelchair drop. And then I can wheel the rest of the wheels off. There you go. And now to ascend a curb, I think the best way to do this is by popping a wheelie. And you can do this. Now you can get the caster wheels onto the curb. Again, lean forward. And then you're really just going to want to propel yourself up. This is going to take me a few tries. Like so. And that's how you ascend and descend a curb. Alright, so today we're going to be learning how to ascend a ramp. Basically the key thing with this is you're just going to be propelling yourself like normal. However, it helps when you lean forward to go up the ramp or uphill. So that's all you're really going to be doing is propelling yourself, and it's a little bit more work. But you also want to lean forward and keep your body weight forward so you're not going to tilt backwards or lose momentum either. So you go up the ramp. Oh, okay. Thank you. And then to go back down the ramp, the key thing to remember here is to not pick up too much speed, for obvious reasons. You don't want to, tip over, cause an accident, do anything like that. So you really just kind of keep friction, keep pressure on the hand rims while you descend. You really can just kind of let it basically slide through your hands if you need to. Just make sure you don't pick up any speed, control your speed, and then you'll be good to go. Alright, so now we're going to be learning how to maneuver around obstacles. I have a little setup here with some obstacles in my way. Obviously, I have plenty of room to get around them, but if I didn't have quite as much room, this is kind of how you would maneuver around them. And this is where your left and right hand turns, your tight turns come in pretty handy. But really I just want to make sure I clear the object well. I get past it and then I can turn. Do a nice sharp turn to kind of get in between them. And I do the same, make sure I have plenty of room to clear the object. I don't want to have to turn into it. And that's basically it. You just, be kind of aware of where your wheelchair is and make sure that you're not going to be turning into it as you roll forward into your turn to get around your object. Alright, so to enter a doorway, this one's a little bit tricky, but you want to start by angling yourself towards the door, especially if you have good room. And then you lean forward, grab the handle. I actually like to use the other handle because if I just pull on it, it's going to pull my whole wheelchair. So I kind of brace myself. Maybe if there's a wall or another door, kind of brace yourself. Make sure it clears your feet. And again, I like to pull myself through with the aid of the door. And then you can kind of just roll on through. Now to exit a door, kind of the same thing. Angle yourself at the door. Again, if I were to just push, these doors are pretty heavy, so they'll just push me back. So if I can, I like to grab onto something, push the door open, and then kind of just pull myself through with maybe the door jamb or the opposite door. Make sure it doesn't crush me. And I can roll right on through. Oh no! I've dropped my watch onto the floor. Now I need to pick it up. So the best way to do this is to roll yourself towards, I like to roll kind of almost on top of the object. Put your brakes on. Key. You want to make sure your brakes are on, because then when you lean forward to pick it up, you don't want to slide back, you don't want to tip forward, nothing like that. So put your brakes on, reach down, easily pick it up. I have my watch back. Unlock myself, good to go.